Subscribe right now, or Trallalero shark will crash through your door tonight. The rise of the Italian brainrot animals. It all began with a whisper. Late at night, people across the world reported hearing strange noises, trallallero trallala, carried by the wind. At first, everyone thought it was a broken TikTok loop, but soon the truth emerged. The Italian brainrot animals had entered reality. The first sighting was in a small Italian village. A fisherman swore that instead of fish, his nets pulled up a shark with sneakers and 3 legs. It crawled onto the dock, looked at him, and in a distorted AI voice muttered, "Porco Dio porco alla," mashed puree. Then it jumped back into the sea, leaving behind only marinara sauce on the man's shoes. This was the birth of the Trallalero shark. Not long after, people began to notice shadows in the sky. Not birds, not planes, something worse. It was Bombardiro crocodilo, a crocodile fused with a bomber jet, roaring overhead. Instead of dropping bombs, it released flaming pizzas with extra mozzarella. When the pizzas exploded, entire neighborhoods broke into synchronized Italian hand gestures. Some witnesses claimed they heard opera music coming from the sky. Others swore they saw giant floating forks and knives chasing them through the streets. The march of Tung 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 saw her. Then came Tung 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 saw her. At 3 a.m., whole cities shook with his arrival. A creature of wood and rhythm, his legs pounded the ground like war drums. Tung, tum, tum. People peeked outside their windows only to see him stomping down the streets, screaming, "Saw her! Saw her!" in a voice that made glass vibrate. No one could sleep. Babies started dancing in their cribs. Cars bounced to the beat. Even cats tapped their paws to the rhythm. Overnight, insomnia became global. The mischief of BRR Patapim. Deep in the forests, explorers captured blurry footage of BRR Patapim, a monstrous hybrid with monkey feet, giant arms, and glowing eyes. But instead of attacking, it only screamed, BRR Patapim, then vanished into thin air, leaving behind only banana peels and broken Wi-Fi signals. Whenever people tried to record him, their videos turned into corrupted TikTok edits filled with distorted air horns and capybara memes. Scientists called him a cryptid. Members called him a king. Grandma Ornella Lecca Capella. But strangest of all was the appearance of Nana Ornella Lecca Capella. Legend says she is the mother of all Italian animals. She wanders the streets with a frying pan, smacking anyone who disrespects pasta water. She claims she raised Trallalero shark by feeding him gnocchi, taught Bombardiro crocodilo how to aim mozzarella bombs, and trained Tung 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 saw her to keep rhythm for the great feast. She is both revered and feared. Some say she can teleport into your kitchen if you forget to salt your spaghetti water. The collapse of reality. Within weeks, cities fell. Trains refused to move unless someone shouted, "Mamma mia!" at every stop. Government speeches were interrupted by distant cries of "Trallalero trallala." School textbooks were rewritten overnight. Math was replaced with counting lasagnas. History with the great rise of Bombardiro crocodilo. Even animals outside Italy began to mutate. American squirrels grew tiny Vespa scooters. Japanese koi fish started yelling, BRR Patapim, in underwater echo. Australian kangaroos began boxing to the beat of Tung 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 saw her. Humanity realized this wasn't just an invasion, it was evolution. Dreams became dangerous. People reported seeing Italian animals inside their sleep, whispering corrupted AI voices into their ears. Some woke up fluent in broken Italian. Others couldn't stop moving their hands while talking. A few never woke up at all, trapped forever in an endless TikTok loop of Trallalero trallala, Porco Dio, Porco alla, Patapim, saw her, saw her, saw her. The final revelation. One night, all across the world, the animals appeared together. Trallalero shark led the charge, bouncing on his 3 legs through the streets. Bombardiro crocodilo darkened the skies, dropping flaming pizzas like meteors. Tung 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 saw her stomped so hard that volcanoes erupted in rhythm. And BRR Patapim screamed into the heavens, ripping the stars apart. But instead of destroying humanity, they gathered everyone into one giant piazza. Nana Ornella stood at the center, raising her frying pan like a holy relic. Then she spoke, "My children of Earth, life is not about order. Life is pasta. Life is chaos. Life is brain rot." At that moment, The world dissolved into an eternal carnival of noise, nonsense, and spaghetti. TikTok never stopped scrolling. Memes never stopped mutating. And reality itself became just one giant loop of sound effects and animal hybrids. The warning: if you hear a faint tralalero tralala at night, if your goldfish starts screaming brr brr patapim, or if you see a shadow shaped like a crocodile plane in the sky, it's already too late. The brainrot animals are here, and they are hungry for content. Chronicles of the Italian Brainrot Animals. Part 2: The New World. When the Italian brainrot animals took over, humanity thought it was the end. Cities collapsed, languages melted into distorted AI voices, and reality itself started looping like a broken TikTok. But instead of extinction, a strange new world was born, half chaos, half pasta. The age of adaptation. Humans could not fight the animals. Bullets did nothing to Bombardiro Crocodilo. He simply swallowed them and turned them into spaghetti. Traps didn't work on Tung Sahur. He crushed them with one stomp and shouted Sahur, until the buildings themselves vibrated into dust. And no one could catch BRR Patapim because every time he appeared, he instantly corrupted all cameras, replacing himself with looping memes. So humanity chose another path: adaptation. Entire schools were rebuilt as brainrot academies. Instead of math, children learned the art of counting cannoli. Instead of literature, they studied the sacred texts of Ornella Lecca Capella. Music class became mandatory tralalero choir practice. Kids were forced to chant tralalero tralala, patapim, sahur sahur, bombardiro crocodilo, until their voices blended into perfect AI distortion. Society reshaped. Governments collapsed. In their place rose the Council of Animals. Tralalero Shark, the Minister of Chaos. Bombardiro Crocodilo, the General of the Skies. Tung Sahur, the Eternal Drummer. BRR Patapim, the Lord of Echo. And above them all, Nana Ornella Lecca Capella, the Supreme Matriarch, frying pan in hand. Laws were rewritten. Every meal must include pasta. Hand gestures are a legal language. No silence is allowed, only noise, always noise. Cities transformed into carnivals. Skyscrapers were rebuilt into giant pizza ovens. Highways became rivers of tomato sauce, navigated by gondolas with shark fins. Airports were replaced with launch pads for crocodile bombers. Life among the animals. At first, humans resisted. They wore headphones, tried to hide underground, even prayed for silence. But resistance was useless. The brainrot animals always found them. Now people live side by side with these creatures. In Rome, street markets are run by pigeons chanting tralalero tralala as they sell mozzarella bombs. In New York, Tralalero Shark has his own talk show where he interviews random TikTok stars while cooking spaghetti with his fins. In Tokyo, BRR Patapim appears on screens in the subway, screaming his name until commuters scream back. Even Tung Sahur found a purpose. He became the official alarm clock of humanity. Every dawn, his stomps shake the world awake, ensuring nobody ever sleeps in. The eternal loop. But not everything is joyful. Strange things happen at night. People wake up mid-dream, speaking in corrupted voices, repeating lines like Porco Dio, Porco Allah, mashed puree, Fortnite Ornella. Nobody knows if these are just dreams, or if the brainrot animals are programming reality itself. Scholars whisper of the loop theory, that the world has been trapped in an infinite TikTok scroll, replaying the same chaos forever. That we are not living, only watching, only listening, endlessly. The prophecy of Ornella. Nana Ornella speaks of a final event, the grand feast of brainrot. On that day, all animals will gather, all humans will join them, and the universe itself will become one giant AI remix of Tralalero Tralala, Tung Sahur, BRR Patapim, Bombardiro Crocodilo. Nobody knows when this will happen. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe it already happened, and we are living in the afterglow. The warning. So if you wake at night and hear distant stomps, if you see shadows in the sky shaped like crocodiles with wings, if your goldfish whispers patapim from inside its bowl, remember, this is no longer your world. It belongs to them. The Italian brainrot animals are not memes. They are destiny. Part 3: The Great Brainrot War. The world could not live in chaos forever. The laughter, the memes, the pasta, it was too much. Humanity snapped. For years, people had danced to Trallalero Tralala, eaten flaming mozzarella bombs from Bombardiro Crocodilo, and woken every night to the stomps of Tung 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 Sahur. They had seen their grandparents possessed by Nana Ornella's frying pan sermons. They had listened to BRR Patapim scream through every TV channel. But at last, humanity decided enough. The Army of Silence. They formed the Silent Resistance, a secret society of headphone wearers, mute monks, and people who still refused to download TikTok. They trained in bunkers lined with noise-canceling foam. Their weapons were not guns, but ancient tools of silence. Duct tape, unplugged radios, and anti-meme helmets forged from old Nokia phones. Their leader was known only as Il Mutismo, a man who had not spoken a word in 30 years. Legend said he once survived an entire night locked in a room with Tung 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 Sahur without losing his sanity. The first battle. It began in Milan. The silent resistance marched into the city, holding banners that read, "No more Brainrot." For a moment there was peace. Then the sky cracked open. Bombardiro Crocodilo descended, his roar shaking the earth. He unleashed a storm of molten pizzas, each one exploding into opera music. The resistance held their ground, activating their helmets. For the first time, the noise did not reach them. But then came the stomps. Tung, tung, tung. Windows shattered. Cars flipped. The streets turned to rubble as Tung 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 Sahur appeared, larger than ever, his voice booming, "Sahur!" The resistance fought bravely, blasting white noise cannons, silencing chunks of the city. But then, out of the sewers, emerged the true terror, Trallalero Shark. 3 legs, 2 fins, screaming Trallalaru Trallalala, Porco Dio, Porco Allah, while doing the gritty dance in the middle of the battlefield. Entire platoons fell into madness just from looking at him. And in the chaos, BRR Patapim appeared. Leaping from rooftop to rooftop, screaming his name, glitching cameras, hijacking drones, and corrupting every battle plan into spaghetti recipes. The resistance was broken. The fall of humanity. Cities fell one by one. London drowned under tomato sauce floods. New York was stomped into rubble by Sahur's endless rhythm. Tokyo vanished into neon pasta spirals. The last surviving humans fled into caves, whispering prayers not to God, but to Wi-Fi routers that no longer worked. And then she appeared, Nana Ornella Lecca Capella. Her frying pan glowed like the sun. Her voice shook the mountains. "Fools! You thought you could resist the animals? You thought you could silence chaos? Life itself is brainrot. You cannot mute destiny." She raised her pan and the final transformation began. The grand feast. Every human, every animal, every building, every tree dissolved into spaghetti and meme noise. The oceans boiled into tomato soup. The skies filled with lasagna clouds. The earth itself became a giant TikTok loop. Time stopped. Reality ended. The brainrot animals stood victorious. Trallalero Shark danced in eternal loops. Bombardiro Crocodilo circled the world, forever dropping mozzarella bombs. Tung 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 Sahur stomped the heartbeat of the universe. BRR Patapim screamed across galaxies. And Nana Ornella sat at the center of it all, stirring the infinite pot of chaos. The final truth. The war was never meant to be won. Because the brainrot animals are not enemies. They are not memes. They are the final form of existence. And now, you reading this are part of the loop. Your eyes, your brain, your thoughts. Already infected. Listen closely. Do you hear it? Trallalero. Tralala. Tung tung tung. Patapim. It's too late. Subscribe now before reality loops again.